Hi, I'm Sytze Elske. This is our van. We converted it 3 years ago. Since then, we lived in it for 1.5 years and we traveled all around Europe. Let me show you around. So this is the kitchen with a cover for the burner and the sink, which we can have a cover on top. So it's ideally as a table then, with 3 burners, the sink. Under here, we have the clean and filthy water. We have 3 clean water tanks of 20 liters. So we have like 60 liters of clean water, which is ideally because you can easily, we're wild campers, so it's perfect for filling it out outside whenever you see a tap somewhere or mountain water. And the dirty one is perfect for like 2 or 3 days. We have to empty it. And then we have the gas tank here with a hole under it for safety, and it's in a closed drawer with the door closed, and the trash bin.
That is just cold water, huh?
Just cold water, yeah. Whenever we need warm water for showering outside or for tea or coffee, we just heat it with this one. So the whole idea was that we were living in the van for a longer period of time. So we didn't want to sit in the cabin because we really wanted to make a little house where we felt at home. So that's why we made a cabin closet that really closes the front from the back with a curtain. So we can still access the front whenever we want to leave without going outside because, if you don't feel safe or whatever, or you want to see what's going on. So it's quite nice to have that contact with the front, but you can close it, so it's really like, okay, we have nothing to do with the cabin, and then we put the shoes here and our jacket, and we have a little thing here for the light or when somebody is trying to break in. And we even have a little vacuum cleaner, of course, to keep it all a bit tidy, and in all these little little pockets, we put all our spices and herbs and that kind of things because we really like cooking. And in the top here, we made this extra panel to make this extra storage space, this pocket, where we put all the bedding. And I will show you later how the bed works. But when you have a bed that transforms into a seating area, you need to have the bedding somewhere. And it needs to be a place where it's kind of accessible and easy to put. So that's why we always put it here. And then on top of here, we had all these glass food storage things, like for rice and pasta. So we put it all there. And also here behind the elastic, all the food. And then here we have very simple sliding drawers, so nothing hinges, nothing can break. It's really simple. It always kept kind of strong, and it's just that there's a slide. It slides just the wood in the wood, and behind here, these are the curtains. But normally we will put all the clothes in, and they slide behind each other. And also there's like a little cutout. It's milled with the CNC cutter. And then it will close. You can dim everything. It's kind of nicely integrated. This is the seating area, which we can sit with 6 people. And when you're just with the 2 of you, you can lay down like this, which is quite comfortable. And we have these huge panorama windows. So you could choose for plastic windows, which are double layered and insulated. The benefit of it is they're not as much as a cold bridge, like when it's cold outside or hot.
You can open them.
And you can open them, although these are, we don't have the openable one. In the sliding door, it's openable. But there is also openable like this, like it's more like a taxi van window.
Like original.
It's original, it's real glass, tempered glass. The big benefit of it for us is it's kind of like 3 ways, because one is you have a lot of light. It's very big. You have a big view. The outside doesn't really look like a camper van so much, so you're a bit more able to stealth camp. And it's way less easy to break in also. Like these plastic windows, you put a screwdriver in between and it's opened, So and these, yeah, you really have to break it, which is kind of like the next level thing. So for us, it's kind of a benefit. The only annoying thing with these windows is that when it's let's say in winter, even though you ventilate well, in the morning you need to take a little, cloth to take a bit of moisture off, because it does how do you say?
Condensate.
Yeah, condensate. Yeah.
Van itself, it's L2.
It's L2, yeah. So it's 6 meters long. So it kind of, well, it officially doesn't fit in a parking spot, but if you're a bit creative, we always find a way. So it's ideal for still going to a supermarket, or in a little village. There's a parking space. You see something, you're like, okay, let's park and have a look. If you have the L3, yeah, you're kind of screwed.
And it's H3.
No, it's H2. Yeah, so it's 190, but I'm 197. So as you could see, I'm still a bit like, most of the time I sit, but when I stand, I kind of like when I cook, I stand a bit. How do you say? I bend towards the. So I can stand like this, but if I stand straight, I'm 197. I won't fit. So in retrospect, what I advise people now, if you're as tall as me, put a big window like that. So not the fan, but like a window. And you also have the midi heiki, which is 70 centimeters. It's from Dometic. It's quite big. I like that one. So then you can really stand up high there. Then you can use the full height. Yeah.
And tell a bit about the ceiling. What is the material?
So the ceiling is actually quite simple. So what we did was we put slats on the metal. So we glued it and we put screws on. So that's behind the fabric. And then in between the slats, there's the insulation. It's a 4 centimeter pier. On top of that, we screwed, in a kind of a random pattern, we screwed these different slats. So we have like oak, there's all kinds of wood. We just kind of mixed it up a bit. And it was my wife's idea to have it yellow, like always we have the sun on top of us. It's kind of bright color. And it saves a lot of weight. Yeah, so it's very light. It's very, in a way, very simple. It also absorbs the sound a bit. So it doesn't, it doesn't feel that hollow. So that's it's a very simple but effective way of making the ceiling look nice. And then for the rest, we have, we chose not to cover all the steel in the van. So our van is white, so we kind of like that you can still see the metal. A lot of people ask, like, hey, isn't that like a cold bridge? Like, shouldn't you insulate it? We did insulate the space behind. So we use this kind of Armaflex flexible material to this outside space. And then in between we have sheep wool for all the, let's say, the complex shapes and the big width. It's a natural material, works very well. But it's important when you use that you have holes in the panel in front so it can ventilate. Because the mistake that people make is they put sheep wool and then they close it completely. And then a moist will go in, but it cannot go out. And then the sheep wool will slowly move down. So that's an important tip. But that works really well for us. So the van is very well insulated. Although when it's very cold, you will feel, of course, from the glass and the metal. Yeah, you will feel there's cold coming, But for us to cover this all with another layer of insulation was not really worth the trouble. So we have 2 solar panels on the roof. We have a relay in between the battery and the back. So when we drive, it charges. And we have this kind of CE thing from the side. So we have 3 ways of charging the battery. But solar, of course, is the biggest use.
How big are the solar panels?
They're 2 times 115. So it's it's like 230 watts, which is perfect in summer. It's more than enough. In winter, it's always a bit trouble. So I advise people, when you want to travel in winter, I would go for a 3rd one. And especially if you use your laptop a lot. Like I have a heavy laptop with 280 watts, which is quite extreme. So I have it in a lot. It will dry the battery quite a lot. So under here, there's the, so we have 2 outlets here, one outside. It's directly next to our electricity. So it's just a very simple box. Here's the inverter, but also the charger.
How big is it?
It's 800 watts with a top to 1600. So it's perfect for, you know, the charging your laptop, all that kind of things. A hair dryer wouldn't work, but I wouldn't advise you to bring it anyway, not a standard one. So under here, there's the battery. We have the standard, because 3 years ago, a deep cycle battery was like 400 euros and a lithium battery was like 2000. Now today, I think you can buy a lithium for like 800. So it becomes like 100 ampere hours. So I think it becomes more interesting now to go for lithium, but we still went for deep cycle. It's a 250, it's the biggest you can get, yeah. And it can, especially in summer, we never need to charge the battery from the outside. Like the solar, it's really nice. Like the solar works really well. But in winter, sometimes we need to drive a little bit and charge, yeah. The toilet block, so there's a toilet seat under here. It's a drawer, which we have a porta potty inside. And under it, because this is the Mercedes Sprinter with a rear wheel drive, there's a step, and here is the heater. So that's actually the perfect spot to put the heater, because it's a space you don't use. And it's directly here, you have the outlet.
Is it 2 kilowatt?
Yeah, we have more. We have 5.5 because it's too heavy. Okay. I bought it secondhand, so it was...
Wasn't it a bit too much?
Yeah, it's 5.5 kilowatt is way too heavy. So it's really on off. Because when you put it on, it's in 5 minutes, it's a sauna. So in winter, when it's really cold, like we went to the Pyrenees, it was like -6, -7, it was perfect. So I advise people to take a 2 kilowatt for this kind of van, because then you can leave it on and it's very comfortable. Yeah, yeah. So and the top part, so the bottom part is the toilet. The top part is the drawer. It's a bit like in a boat. Since we lived in the van for 1.5 years, we didn't want any plastic cups or drinking stuff, so we have real beer glasses. And the idea was everything is IKEA, because whenever something breaks, if you're in the Netherlands or in Portugal, you can just go to IKEA and buy the standard stuff, you know, so you can always refill it. And there's like a secret drawer in there with the cups and some extra things. In here there's another, so whenever you're cooking and it's full, you can slide this one out to put some things, and outside is the same. It's just a little extra drawer, little extra table to put things on. So we wanted a bed that was 2 meters, so we had to sleep in the length. That's why we made a bed that is convertible to a sofa. So the sofa is of course also convertible to the bed. So we have this kind of simple table which can go in 2 heights, low or high. And we have these back panels that make the back in the right direction, which we put in between. So the table is 120 and the 2 panels are 40. So together you have a bed of 2 meters. It's like this. So we have 6 panels. The last 2 will be stored here in between the bed and the door. And then because they're very big, tall mattresses, we just slide them towards each other. And we made them a little bit bigger. So they're like 1 centimeter bigger than the width. So they kind of push together as one strong mattress. So when you lay on it, we have this IKEA topper, which we put over, but you don't feel the edges at all. It's a very comfortable 2 meter by 180 2-person bed, or you can even lay with 3 if you want. I was an architect before we start traveling, and I made a design for the van.